inquiry, whenever you are in the demand or in the need of any kind of service and product, you can write a letter of inquiry. So this is the primary letter or the first time you are making an inquiry of anything. So that whenever you're making the inquiry, you should be conscious and you should be uh, able to plan what exactly and what kind of inquiry you are making when you are writing the letter of inquiry. So you might be thinking it's easy. It's not so easy because some of the aspects, some of the problems I'm getting to discuss here, and then you will understand what the problems would be there when you write the letter of inquiry. Okay. So basically, whenever we starting the letter of inquiry, what is it? We have to understand what is the letter of inquiry. So letter of inquiry is a request for the information for the service or the product. So whenever you want to buy any kind of the service and the product, at that time when you are making the inquiry on it, that means you are writing the letter of inquiry, right? You can ask for samples, catalogs, or the quotation for the same. Suppose if you have a detailed information about the product, for an example, whenever you want to buy a laptop, you know the configuration, type of it, everything, then you can ask for the catalog or the quotation because you know that which particular product you are buying. But suppose if you are not sure exactly what product you are going to buy and you have to take the decision, you can invite for the samples. So different kind of the samples will be there. They will send it to you or ask for your inspection. If you like it, then you can ask for the quotation and the catalog, right? So this is basically not like you know the product very well. Sometimes we do not know the product. We do not know anything about it. And to get the detailed information on that product, you can write the letter of inquiry. It is useful when you need an information, advice, names or categories of the products or services. So if you are the senior person in your department and you are setting up your department with the equipments and all the necessary devices, then you do not know what kind of the devices would be there because it is new to you, then you can simply write a letter of inquiry. Okay, and into that letter of inquiry you can put your questions, your doubts, and those doubts will be addressed by the seller. Okay, so it is for the information of the particular product. Then advice, sometimes we have to get the advice from the seller based on your need, which particular product is effective or important for you. Then you can also ask for names and categories. If different categories are available into the same kind of the product, we have a host of the categories in the same kind of product, right? So there you can ask for the categories of the products or services. Okay, so for that purpose you can write letter of inquiry. Now that there are basically two types of letters of inquiry. So the first type is known as solicited. Okay, so this is very formal word which can be used in a professional life. Solicited means you know the product or services before. Okay, you can write the letter of solicited inquiry when a business or agency advertises its products and services. Suppose if you want to buy a new connection of the internet, that is the service industry, and you know that that particular company is offering cheap plans and with a better connectivity and a good bandwidth. So for that purpose you can write the solicited inquiry because you get to know through the advertisement, through the brochures, or any kind of the media through which you come to know about that particular service. And if you know the service before, the products before, and the company advertising it, then you can write solicited. It means the company is in a business and they want to sell the product or service. So that is the solicited inquiry. So most of the 90% of the inquiry we are making are solicited. For an example, I have chosen an example. If a software manufacturer advertises some new packages and you could not find it locally, you can write a solicited letter to the manufacturer, making the inquiry about the software, right? So that is solicited inquiry. Unsolicited inquiry is exactly opposite to the solicited. It means the person who has invented or have the product and services may do not intend to sell it. Okay, and if you are interested into that product and services and you want to buy it, then you can write the unsolicited type of inquiry. For an example, suppose if you are in a final year and you are working on your project. Into the project, you have developed something new. That will be a development of the new product or services or software, and it is really useful for the X company or industry. When they will come to know that this particular software is available, then they can make direct contact with you and will ask you to sell that particular software. So that is unsolicited type of inquiry. So letters can be written if the recipient or the manufacturer has done nothing to prompt your inquiry. They haven't advertised it, but you come to know about their products and services through the trade fair, job fairs, through the internet, right? So then when you are interested to buy that product and service, you can write the letter of unsolicited. So if you read an article into the research article, you may have a further question or want more information. You may write unsolicited type of letter to making inquiry, right? So that is the unsolicited type of inquiry. And you must construct the unsolicited type more carefully because the recipient of the unsolicited letters of inquiry are not prepared to handle such inquiries. They may not intend to sell it. Okay, so whenever you're making an inquiry, you have to create interest of that person to get that product and service. It may be through offering some kind of money or a goodwill. You can use both the ways, right? So that is known as unsolicited type of inquiry. Now coming to the type of the letter, how to write the letter of inquiry. So whenever you're writing a letter, it starts with the introduction. So every letter starts with the introduction. We have not consider we are not considering here the front and the back part of the letter, but the middle part, which starts with the paragraphs. Okay. So when you are starting your introduction should be done in the first paragraph. So what you have to convey into the first paragraph, tell your reader why are you writing. If you are in the need of a specific requirement, for an example, if you are hosting a party at your house and you want to buy several carrots of apples, then you can tell the seller for which particular need you are buying it. Okay, tell you why are you writing this particularly. So you are in the need, but for which specific purpose the need is, you have to convey to the seller. Then you have to tell who are you. It means it may be individual, it may be a company, or it may be a firm. So if you are a company, you are going to place that order repeatedly. If you are individual, then you are placing it for the first and last time because you are in the not need again and again for the same product, right? And if you are a company, you are getting some kind of a discount because you are placing an order repeatedly. So it's very important. The seller should understand, are you individual, are you company or firm, so that he can accordingly give the information. Okay, then how you get the information. So it's very important, whenever you get the information on the product through any source, you have to mention into the letter that you get the information through advertisement. It may be newspaper, it may be a TV or any other media. It is really important because as a seller, he has to know which is the basic type of the advertisement is more powerful or effective than the rest, so that the seller can concentrate on that particular advertisement media. So this is very important. How did you get the information about the service or product? So it's through the advertisement, trade fair, seminars, workshop, website. So this particular information should be included into the first paragraph. That is known as introduction of the discussion. Tell your reader why are you writing, who are you, and how you get the information about the product or service. So these three things will be important in the first paragraph. Next. So second paragraph can begin with the need. Okay. A question or a request can be placed. For an example, you can directly begin with, could you give us the following information? You can also prepare a tabular format if you think that will be the effective way to get the information. Okay, so you can directly begin with the sentence. Could you give the following information, or please send us the following information, or I would appreciate receiving the following information from you. Okay, so this is a direct beginning when you are writing the second paragraph. Okay, next, you may also start to write with the indication of the need. Indication means for which specific purpose you are you are demanding that particular product or service. You can also indicate the purpose for which specific need you are buying it or you are ordering it. Okay, so indicate the purpose for which the information is needed. For an example, I give the example why it is so important, because the seller will have a clear cut idea for which basic need you are buying that product. Okay, we are going to buy so many kinds of the computers or desktops, but we have a different purposes. Based on the different purposes, there will be different types of the product available into different size and the categories as well. So that the seller, when you are placing your requirement in detail, he will concentrate what is your requirement and what are the products and services are suitable to that requirement. For that purpose, it is important that you should convey why you need that information or for which specific purpose you are using that product or service. For an example, we can see here, if you are setting up a computer laboratory of the 40 students, okay, and you are making inquiry about the computers, so you should not tell them the quantity and for which specific purpose you are buying that product, but you have to also tell them the lab in which you have to fix those 40 computers, which will measure in 10 into 15 meters. So when you specify this particular space in which you have to place that particular product or fix it, then the seller will give you a most suitable product which will be fixed into that particular area, right? So that is how he will come to know what are your requirements are. So mention your requirements in detail into the second paragraph. Next, into the discussion, you can mention the quantity of the product. Into the second paragraph also, how much quantity is required. It is really important. If your quantity is in good in numbers, so you will get more discounts. If it is less in numbers, you will get the less discounts. You have to also mention the size of the product. Different sizes are there for the same product, so exact size you have to mention. If you are buying a desktop PC, you have to also convey the monitor size. Okay, so that the seller will quote you the exact price of that product. Then the quality and the brand also, you have to very specific which kind of quality you need. It will be like a, a medium quality or a good quality or high quality products, and which specific brand you are interested in, so that he will give you proper information. Then terms of payment, you know that this is very important, how you are uh, getting to pay the amount of that particular product and service. You have to mention, are you going to pay through the check, cash, on delivery, before delivery, after delivery, in 50%, 25%, etc. Okay, so this is very important because you are doing it for a business, and the seller is also doing it for a business. So terms of payment should be clear on the both sides. Then other concern you can also mention, mode of delivery, how you are expecting that particular product should be delivered. It should be like a personal courier, or should be truck, should be a special vehicle, so that you have to mention. Then the installation, who will do the installation? Is it done by yourself, or you are expecting that the seller should do the installation? So you have to mention it. Okay, so all these things are necessary. You have to mention the quantity, you have to mention the size of the product, quality and brand, and the payment, and the mode of delivery. So these are very basic points. Whenever you're making the inquiry as well, you have to mention it, because based on this information, the seller will provide you information. If you are missing some of the points there, again he will make the inquiry and it will extend further the communication, right? So to avoid it, you have to be very careful about these elements. Next, you have to do the conclusion in the third paragraph. Conclusion is essential. So it should be precise. It should be short and up to the point. You should not go on expanding and repeat the point which are already mentioned. Mention when you require the information. Sometimes we do need that information on urgent basis. So you can mention in your letter that we expect the information within 2 days after receiving the letter. So priority will given be you and will be given by him to you, and he will provide you the information in 2 or 3 days. Then also you can mention the date of response, by which date you are expecting the response. Okay, so by that date, if you need that information, you can tell the seller that by that date you are expecting the response, and explain why you want the response in the given date. It may be due to the emergency or anything. You have to mention the reason. So this could be included into the conclusion of the letter. The conclusion should be precise, then mention the required information when you are expecting it. Then specific date could be also mentioned, and also mention why you need that information so early. So this is done by the conclusion. Okay. Then also you can end the letter. The ending sentence you have to write, and whenever you're writing it, you have to end it with a friendly comment. Friendly comment doesn't mean that you are adding some extra sugar to the or extra quoted words in your sentence. So this could be ended very simply. As a professional, you have to end it. End the letter with a friendly comment, which will leave a sense of personal relationship. And ending like this. I'm highlighting it. It's already highlighted by the reading red color. An early response would be appreciated, or thanking you in advance. This is not expected now. Many times we are writing it and we are expecting that it's forming good impression on the people, but this is not expected. Okay, an early response would be appreciated. Early response, you cannot say that. You have to mention within 2 days or by the date. For an example, 10th of July, I would be expecting a response. So that will be the clear message you are writing to the seller, and you should not use these kinds of the sentences or endings into your letter. End the letter with more business like such sentences like, if you could give this data to me by Tuesday, I shall be more grateful. So this is the correct way to end your letter. So why it is required? Because along with you are doing the business or increasing the business of the seller, you are also developing your goodwill, good relationship with the seller. So your language is also equally important along with the content you are writing into the letter. Then apart from the letter of inquiry, some of the things I am telling you through the letter of inquiry, what kind of information you can expect. So you can ask for the quotations. Quotations are required there because you can get an overall idea how much it will cost. Okay, and you have to adjust the budget accordingly. Okay. So when the seller has given the information and you are satisfied with the information provided, then you can write the letter of quotations. Okay, after making the inquiry, when he will respond to you, or along with the response, if you are asking him to provide the quotation, the seller will provide you the quotations. Okay, so when you intend to buy a product or service, you ask for the quotation from the several suppliers. This is very important. See, when you are making the letter of inquiry also, you can send the same letter to the different sellers, and different sellers will give you a different kind of the product and different kind of the quality and quantity of the product. Even the price will be different. So it will be really beneficial for you if you write the same letter to the several suppliers, so you can compare and contrast with the quotations. So whichever quotation will be suitable to your organization and your need, you can select that one. But it is really essential to write the letter of inquiry to the several suppliers. Do not write it to one supplier only. And you can select the most suitable to you. Okay, it may be in the form of the quality, the money you are offering to them. Okay. Then in a quotation, you have to ask to mention all the details of your requirement. Okay, you have to mention the requirements, and based on that requirement, the seller will respond you. when asking for the quotation. So what are the requirements would be there? For an example, services like painting. If you want to paint your office or house, you can ask for the demonstration or installation. So services like painting, renovation, air conditioning, installation. Ask for a representative to visit your home or office to discuss the details. It may not be possible to fill up all the details or mention all the details into the letter. So if anyone from the organization or the seller side will represent you, visit your house or office, it will be easy for you and the seller also to discuss it thoroughly. So you can ask for the visit or a demo. A demo can be also arranged for a particular machine or a device you are buying. Okay. If it is a machine like a Xerox or overhead projector whose working you would like to see, a demonstration can be arranged. So you can ask for the demonstration. If you want to or decided to buy that particular product, you can ask any seller to come to your office or your home and give a demonstration of the product. If you give the demonstration, good demonstration, and you really satisfied, you can further place the order. Okay. So into the quotations, if you're just not need not to mention the quality, quantity, brand, and the price, but you also need to ask for the installation process, demonstration as well into the quotation later. So this is just a sample I am discussing here. Please pay close attention here so that you can understand how the letter of inquiry could be written. And you do not think that the question would be asked into the exam. I would also give the assignment questions when you are writing the letters. So next assignment will be on the letter writing. So there you have to write the letter of inquiry. And if you are committing mistakes, you are getting the less marks. So I am here discussing in detail, as you can see on your screen also, the letter of inquiry. This is the sample letter I am discussing here. Okay. So this is the address, a sender's address. Okay, a letterhead or sender's address could be written here. And can you guess in which particular layout this letter is? Any guess you are getting? Last lecture we had a discussion on the layouts. So we had a discussion on 4 layouts. Can you guess the letter in which particular layout is it? Can anyone provide me the response? Students, I am asking you something. Are you there, available, or left the meeting?
So, yeah, here.
Yeah, provide me the response. I am checking how many students are there. So I could
Sir,
ask
block format.
full block, not only block. Every letter will be coming into the block category. Full block, modified block, or semi block, right? So this is
Yes,
in
sir.
full block. So you shouldn't wait so much time to waste to respond. Okay. So this is in full block because all the elements are aligned to left margin. Easy. Okay. Yeah, right. It's right. So let's see what the details are mentioned there so that we can understand better with the example. So I'm also telling you the elements of the letters and as well as the spaces maintained into the each element. Okay. So this is a letter of inquiry and in full block. So this is the seller's, not seller's address, sender's address, and one space is given here in between the date line. This is the date line. Look at the date line. Okay. Month is put up first, then the day and the year. Okay. So this is in USA style. There is no mistake done by the writer while writing the date. Then here are the 2 spaces, and then you can find the receiver's address. Salutation, where you can see the letter is addressed to the name of that person, not to the designation. Designation is written under the name, and this is the address of the company, right? Subject is missing here. Subject is not written by the sender, but you can write the subject here or here, before salutation and after salutation. The space are given here 2, right? There is one space after salutation. Okay. Then see the salutation there. It is addressed to the name of that person. Okay. Then as the writer has started, see the content. I am a system engineer. The writer has introduced. Who is he? He is a system engineer at Bell Trading. This is the company. Okay. So he is writing from the company. We are planning to launch a new cell phone model. Okay. So for which he is making inquiry. Let's see. He wanted to launch a new cell phone model, and he is making an inquiry for advanced semiconductor which is used into the phone. Okay, so he has clearly mentioned who is he, for which purpose he need that product, and what product he needs, right? So he clearly mentioned within 2 sentences. Then my company is considering using your new release of the semiconductors. So this is the product he is talking about. He also made specific which specific product he want to buy. Then accordingly he also mentioning the information, which information he requires in tabular format. He first asked how much discount will be offered, then the unit price of each semiconductor, then delivery, how the delivery will be made, terms of payment, see how the payment should be made, and the warranty of the product. Okay, so this is in tabular format because when the seller will respond him, he will take the same table, then he will mention the discount, unit price of each semiconductor, how the delivery will be made, terms of payment, through which mode of the payment he is accepting it, and the warranty, right? So this is very easy to understand the information and to write the information also as a seller. Then he also mentioned in the ending, I would be happy to talk to you further about your product. You can email me at the address is given, right? So you can understand within 3 paragraphs, not 3 paragraphs as we can see. Within few sentences, he has clearly mentioned what he needs and how he needs it, and what specific requirement is there and the product is, right? So this is easy. Then as you can see the closing here, there are 2 spaces between the closing. You can see sincerely, as he has used the name, not used the uh, designation. Then the signature and his name, then the position. Okay. Apart from it, the letter he is also given or submitted to the Mr. Station, Stanchion, whatever it may be, Stanton. Okay. So you can see this is very simple letter to understand. Okay. This is letter of inquiry. I also explain you the sample. Okay. Then some of the tips I'm mentioning here, because the content is also important accordingly when you are writing the type of the specific type of the letter. So when you are writing a letter of inquiry, you should be candid. You should be careful about the quality and quantity. These are 2 elements. How much is the quantity and what is the quality of the product required. Then the nature of service required if you are writing for the specific service. Then state clearly the purpose of requirement. What is the purpose of your requirement? So you have to state it clearly. Are you going to use it as a product, or you want to make the another product using it? As we have seen into the later, that the semiconductor could be used for the in the phone model. Then be alert regarding the date of delivery. When you are expecting that the product should be delivered to you. Okay, place and venue of the delivery. Maybe you are writing from your office, but the delivery should be at the different address. Then you can mention. Then the time of the delivery. It is also important because sometimes that particular office will not be in working condition or 24/7. So it is very important that in on which day it will be delivered, and also mention the time slot. Then the mode of the delivery or transportation. So this will be also made specific so that the seller can plan accordingly. Then you can send the copy of the same letter to various rivals or the competing companies. Means you can write it to the different seller of the same product. Okay. Then conclude your letter by offering bulk order and future scope. In future scope, you can say you can place the repeated orders after a certain span of the time because you need that product regularly, and if you are placing a bulk order, so that the seller could offer you good discount, and ask for the immediate and positive response. When you are mentioning it that you are expecting a response by that date, it means you are in hurry to buy the product, so the seller will respond you accordingly. Then now, it doesn't mean that you will need to just write the letter of inquiry. Sometimes you have to write the replies also. So into the exam, the question would be like, you have to reply to the response of a specific X need of the seller. So then you will become a seller, not a buyer. So as a seller, when you are giving the response, how you could give the response to the particular letter. So first thing first, always give prompt attention and to an inquiry and make every effort to work up to get an order. So this is your motto. So when you are responding, what is your motto? You should get an order. Okay. When you will get an order, then you can see that you were successful in selling the product. So give the prompt attention and response to the buyer when he or she is making the inquiry. Tell the potential customer what he wants to know and something more. If he asks for the information, provide the detailed and in-depth information, right? So that he will be satisfied with your information, will intend to buy your product. You need to use persuasive skills and good judgment in giving the information. Understanding the basic needs of that particular buyer, you can have a good skill to understand what is the need of that particular customer. Then present the facts so as to show the customer the benefit of buying the product or service. And some of the features you can mention the products, give a selling features also, or some of the extra services you are providing, so that the buyer will feel interest to buy it. Okay, you can send the brochure, catalog, price list, or samples, and mention which model will be suitable. It may be possible for you that sometime the customer has demanded a wrong model which is not suitable for his requirement, so you can suggest which particular model will be suitable. Okay, so you can mention it. You can send the brochure, catalog, price list, so that he can have an in-depth information about the product or service. Sometimes you may not be able to give the response to the inquiry, so it is because of the confidential or not available. If any reason would be there due to which you are not able to give the response, still you have to respond that person. So suppose if the product is not available, you might be thinking, why do I need to get write the response? Still you have to write a response, because the uh, when you are into the business, you have to follow etiquettes. Okay, when somebody is asking you for your response, you have to respond it and mention the reasons. Though you will not have the product available at that time, you may tell them when it will be available. Okay, and sometimes it may be due to the confidentiality of the particular product and service, you cannot give the response. You can clearly mention into that response later. So it means you have to write a response later whenever you do not have the product or you cannot provide the information being asked by the buyer. So courteously explain why the information cannot be given and suggest some other source of the information if available. So if you are not able to provide the information into the letter, you can mention other source, and into that source you can mention what is the source and how that buyer will get the information. You can mention to use the internet or websites where the information will be available. So when you are replying to the inquiry, some of the things you have to remember when you are responding to the letter. Show genuine interest into the letter of inquiry, because this is the first step where you can expand. You are getting a new customer for your product or service. Then convert your inquiry into the proper order. So this will be a skill set required for you as a seller, so that whenever you are getting a letter of inquiry, you could get an order as well. If you are wasting your time just in letter of inquiry and responding it and you are not getting the order, you cannot increase your business. So your motto would be, while responding to any inquiry, is to get the order, right? To send catalog, price list, information brochure, etc. It already mentioned. Also specify the availability of the stock. Sometimes the stock will be limited, and if he hasn't mentioned into the later when he is demanding the product or placing an order, you couldn't say that the stock is not available. So when you are mentioning the stock is limited and it could be placed, the order could be placed within the short span of the time, the buyer will make uh, order or place an order on that particular time span. Then terms and conditions of the delivery, mode of transport, then date of delivery, mode of payments are essential. Because if you haven't mentioned any kind of terms and conditions there, then you cannot claim anything. For an example, suppose the product is very delicate and you cannot accept the responsibility while delivering it. You have to mention it into terms and conditions. Otherwise, when the product will be broken and received by the buyer, he can claim for it, right? So terms and conditions could be clearly mentioned when the order is being placed. Then enforce to give the order immediately, because you have to sell that product so that the order could be placed in short span of the time. Sometimes we do not have that particular product available with us and we will have a substitute. So when you are providing a substitute, still you can write a response to the inquiry. So if the requested products are not available, try to get the customer interested in the substitute. So same kind of the product is not available, but into the same quality, having the different brand, you can ask the buyer to uh, purchase it, but the quality should meet the requirement of the customer. Okay, so the substitute you offer must be satisfying the purpose and the need of the customer. So this will be important, because for the basic purposes for which he is buying that product, it should meet the purpose and the need. Okay, if it is not meeting, you should not write a response. The substitute must be the nearest in quality and price. I already mentioned it. So quality should be the same. Send the sample with the quotation or offer on a trial and approval basis. Sometimes if the customer hasn't used that particular product, we can send a trial product. It could be any kind of device, machine. If you wanted to buy it, if it is not too expensive, then you can ask him to use it as a trial. If he likes it, then he can place the order. Explain briefly why you cannot supply the product which is the customer has asked for. So there may be some of the reasons because you are not getting the product on time and you cannot supply it on time. Okay, so whichever would be the reason, you have to mention it very clearly. Sometimes you have to withhold the quotations. If a particular customer asks you the repeated quotations, it simply means that he is asking to give the quotations repeatedly because he is comparing your prices with the other sellers. For the first time you can give it, but if he repeatedly asks the same information, do not disclose it. Okay, so if a particular customer repeatedly asks for the quotations for the purpose of comparing with the other quotations and does not place any order, then you can avoid the giving the quotation. So this is because he is not following the business ethics. Okay, so you can simply deny it. Write a tactful letter saying that the market is uncertain and you can quote only for the definite contract or the order. So simply mention, because he is not placing an order. If he is placing an order, then you can provide the information. Okay, and you have to be very firm, very firm to offer for a very short period. So within that short span of the time, he or she has to place the order, and then only you